Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be part 2 of the layout build for my O-gauge layout here. I'm going to go over this video with you guys today and just show you so far what I've done. I have done a pretty tremendous amount since the original video where I kind of broke down the plan a couple months ago. Um, I got a lot of this done over that time. I can't say that I honestly recorded as much as I probably should have, so I do apologize about that, but what we'll do is we'll walk you around the layout and I will kind of break down what I have and kind of show you right now what is permanent and what is temporary as I'm just figuring out how I want to set stuff up. So let's get started here. All right, guys, so I'm going to just kind of show you from starting here. We're going to start at the front door and I'm going to kind of walk you to the back corner and then we'll work our way forward. So I'm just going to walk around and let you guys kind of see what everything looks like so far. So this is kind of getting that dog bone shape. Track runs all the way back there. Kind of have my workbench set up. I have a Missouri Pacific RS11 on the line right now, and it's a Copper Range 060 back there on the inner loop. Looking forward, just got some buildings that are kind of randomly placed at the moment. Had to work around that stove. And then going over here, we're getting all the way to this end. So walking over here, the first thing you can see, and this is the only part I sort of have done right now that's actual decor, is going to be this little canyon desert style setup. I used a terrarium background for it, and then these two mountains are made out of a pink foam that's covered with HO scale brown ballast. That worked out pretty well, and I did it curved so it kind of adds some different depth to it, and that comes around. This is an 072 loop, falls through onto a straightaway. Right now on this straightaway, I have a little yard off to the right. I'm not sure if that's going to quite stay the way it currently is, but it's at least temporarily there. It's kind of a, just give me an idea. And then I also do have one little spur over here on the inside loop, just sticking off where I can set my trains up and everything. I can reach over all of this, even to that inside line from the outside of the table. And when I do that, it allows me to set a train up, start running it on that line. It's just a good lengthy spot to get going. Um, and then from there, like I said, there's this little yard. It moves down the line here and going down this line. It's an 072 curve on the outside. This is all 072 on the outside, by the way. Follows it down here and just shoots down to that other side of this dog bone. Right now, I do not have any power drops set up on the table. I'm only utilizing a couple lock-ons here. So that outer loop, because it's a full loop, there's a lock-on on both sides here, so I'm at least getting 2 points of power to the track. And that inner loop, there's only one lock-on here, smack dab in the middle, because these are a dual reversing loop on each side. When the trains go down this lap, they're going to go down to the other side of this dog bone here. And on this other side of the dog bone, this outer loop just does a full 072 circle, as you'll be able to see. Follows it around and then turns around to travel back. The inside, it goes on a reversing loop, and on this little reversing loop, I do have a little spur off right now. On that little spur, I do have a Menards lumberyard and just a couple of the little lumber carts floating out there right now. As you can tell looking at this is definitely still a long ways off from finished. There's a lot of, random scenery and pieces and tools just floating around. But now to kind of get down to the part you might be the most interested in is how I got this build actually set up for the table. So on these tables, I used all for the surface 1/2-inch sanded plywood just to give me a nice smooth surface. And then on top of it, this is what I'll show you here, is this is actually going to be acoustic ceiling tile. So that acoustic ceiling tile works really well at dampening the sound. I tried a couple different options. I know that some people utilize pink foam. Some people have utilized, like I'm pulling a blank on the word now. But the other sound dampening material is usually in like a green sheet. And it's actually a similar density from what I figured out compared to the ceiling tiles. But it's just much more of a pain in the butt to move. So for me, I did some testing. The ceiling tiles work significantly better than the foam when it comes to sound dampening. It's basically you get no noise from the trains on this table. All the noise you hear is the noise the engine's actually producing that you want to hear. It's not the echo or reverberation that you would hear. I did do a little bit of this just on plain plywood, and it's night and day difference between the plain plywood and what you're hearing now with everything set up on top of the acoustic tiles. And then on top of those acoustic tiles, I used just some green outdoor carpet for most of it. My little desert scene over here, I did use tan outdoor carpet and just seamed them together with some carpet tape underneath. I do want to point out with this type of carpet, it's not the heated carpet tape. If you're going to do that and seam it, I would avoid the heated carpet tape. It may burn the actual fabric. Essentially, they just make a material similar to duct tape you can use to seam stuff together. But anyway, at this point now where I am really trying to move forward is deciding exactly how I want to have stuff set up. This outer line where we loop around on the dog bone, so this side over here, the running on the back, and then all the way over here to where the desert is, that's pretty much set in place. The only variation I can make on this outer line to show you is right here where this yard is. Basically, my decision would be is if I want to bump this curve out. So basically, the 072 would put some straight pieces in the middle on this corner right over here and bump it out all the way to the edge of the table more. So like right now I have a Menards engine house here, but I would shift that main line all the way to the corner and run it, and then I could put a yard inside. I'm leaning that way. I just need to decide what I want to do for switches. But if I lean that way and do it, it allows me to kind of use that yard multi-purpose where when stuff exits the yard, it could go onto the main line or it's going to go onto that secondary inner line. So that's one of the decisions I'm working on. The other decision I'm working on is with that inner main line is I'm debating right now exactly how I want to have it structured. Originally, when I started building this layout, my idea was to have the ability to run 2 full trains on loops. Now, I wanted stuff off these loops for the trains to still do, but utilizing the 2 loops would be ideal. Now, I've gone a little bit back and forth on that to where maybe if I do a smaller loop, that would be one of the ideas I had. Or the other thing I've also thought about as well is doing kind of a switching layout. So leaving the outer main line, but then that second line, instead of having it be any sort of continuous running loop, it would be just a switching layout that you could get onto. And then I have some smaller switcher engines. And in particular for me, I tend to just pick up a lot of 4-axle diesels. That's just one of the things I tend to pick up in a pretty large amount. Those would work great on a switching layout, especially considering I could put several spurs on each side and have one line running back and forth. I just wouldn't be able to do it for continuous running on that inside loop. Definitely drop stuff down in the comments below if you have any ideas on it. I'm curious to hear what everybody says. But that's kind of what I got going so far. So I really don't have much scenery. The only scenery, like I said, I've set up so far is this little desert scene over here. And the rest of it, I have some buildings and stuff kind of spread out, but nothing's permanently placed. All of those buildings and structures can move. So I'd be curious for input. I'm still looking up different ideas to decide how I want to do. One other thing that I will show you guys right here, though, is I did already start getting some storage built below the tables. So I'm going to jump down a little bit here, and what you'll be able to see, actually, let's do this. So I know I'm going to be working under this layout a lot, so one thing that I did was for about 30 bucks off Amazon, I added in some lighting down there. So with that lighting, when I go to crawl around under that table, I'm not messing with the flashlight. I can just turn that lighting on, and I can see whatever I need to see when I'm running wiring or storing stuff down here. But right now I do have some storage set up. So as you can see, like I mentioned, a lot of 4-axle diesels. There is some 6-axle in here, like there's SD40s down there. There's some Gevos over here. But the majority of what I run is typically 4-axle diesels. So, just a variety of different Jeeps, some F units, just the whole spiel. And then down below I do have that second layer of storage here just for cars. A couple locomotives down there. And then over here I have some additional storage. So Down over here, I have storage for just additional cars. This storage is actually a little deeper than the other side. So, like, for example, I have some passenger cars up top. Those are the Greyhound Union Pacific cars that are Rail King. And down below, I have some Rail King Superliners. They both fit in here perfect. Even if I went up to a premier size, so I went to a full scale passenger car, there's enough depth here for them to fit in, no problem. I mean, for example, if we look over here, I have a Union Pacific Challenger even that fits on this shelf, no problem, with room to spare. Uh, you know, you guys pay attention closely, you might recognize that Challenger from a different YouTuber that happens to be local to me. But regardless, plenty of storage so far, but I'm still working on deciding on additional storage as well, and I'm working on deciding on how I'm going to thread this inner loop together, or if it's even going to be a loop or a switching layout instead. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me, and I would love any feedback down in the comments below or any questions. I'm more than happy to always reply, and I look forward to hearing from you guys.